Here at Simply Garden, with over 50 years of gardening experience, I believe in keeping things simple and productive while gardening in your own backyard. Good afternoon on this beautiful first day of October. We're well into fall, and in the northeast here, southern New Hampshire, zone 5. Leaves are starting to change a little bit, but just want to give you a little update where things are at with our fall garden, and then what we're doing as far as pulling the garden down and getting it ready for winter and for next year. We've got lettuce growing in here quite well here. This is the lettuce and carrots and radishes for the cold frame here. As you can see, the carrots are coming in between the radishes here. I guess it's time to pull some of the radishes out. Oops, got one of the carrots there, but that's okay. Gotta be a little more careful pulling those guys out. Nights are getting cooler. I'm not sure, everybody's got different schedules of their fall activities here. Up here we get some of the colder nights. It's getting middle 40s at nighttime. No frost yet. I didn't have much success getting my, unfortunately, getting my spinach to take off too well. I had that problem with something eating it, but oh well, it's always next year. A little bit here coming up, but not too well. Beets are doing well for the fall here. Carrots looking great. Leeks, broccoli, lettuce interplanted. That lettuce there is more for later when the fall, when the cold frame comes on. We'll be harvesting that more so in November. This here is already harvested. Been enjoying this already, and I should be getting broccoli pretty soon here. And if I have to, I have blankets I cover if it gets too cold at nighttime. That seems to help, but I can see now where it's starting to form up inside there, getting some heads coming. So we're excited about that. Brussels sprouts are doing so-so. Some years they do well, some years they don't. Starting to get a few of the nubs along there, but I clipped off the tops on purpose to shoot the energy back down into the sides. You can see some down here coming in. We'll see, they do like the cooler weather, so they'll do fine with the cooler weather here. Everything else is getting cleaned out. I'm starting to compost some of the beds. This is going to be my bed for next year for strawberries, so I want to make sure I compost that really heavy. I probably put about, typically I put two, each wheelbarrow load is about 7 cubes, square feet I mean, and I think I put 3 wheelbarrow loads in there of compost. Then on top of this, what I'll do is I'll edge down the end. You'll see that. I'll give you more instructions on that later on when I get ready to edge the beds, and I throw the dirt back up, rake it down, give it a good treatment of some lime and some organic mixture of fertilizer there, and plant winter ryegrass seed on there. So winter time it's all green, and then the spring we'll turn under and plant our next crop of strawberries for 2019. Tomatoes definitely wrapping up, but got a little bit of the celery's doing very well. It's taken off now, and I just fertilized it the other day. You get a little bit of this outside brownness, I don't know why, but that's okay. It's we have plenty in here. And you got enough new growth coming out of the center, which I love to see at this time of year. Believe it or not, this celery will keep out here till Thanksgiving. Yeah, we do get the upper 20s in November. I'll cover with a couple blankets. And then what I do is after Thanksgiving, I'll pot up what's here, put it in my bulkhead, and continue enjoying celery. Just break off the stalks as it comes right into the into January. Already pulled the sweet potatoes out, composted. Strawberries looking really good. I've really increased my fertilization using kelp, powdered kelp, blood meal, then just a good combination of a strawberry fertilizer that's for strawberries, mixing that together. And I'm getting these guys every month. Did my last one a couple weeks ago, and a lot of new side shoots. In fact, over here on this one here, oh, still got peppers, and they'll keep on coming. Yeah, sometimes I'll just freeze right up. Enjoy those for freezing. Just in Ziploc bags, slice them, de-seed them, of course. And they become great for different chilies and stuff like that in the winter time. But we got this here. Getting ready to transplant these guys out. What I did is I took some of the runners and put them into pots, and basically disconnect the runner from the edge, and now I got new strawberry plants. Just gonna break back some of these couple of these runners that came out of here so I can show you here. Look at that. Isn't that great? Nice roots coming out the bottom. We'll just take that, plant that whole thing. I got a bed right up here. It's not doing too well. I'll fill in the edges on that, even though I'm going to take it out next year. But this way, because that plant's already established, it becomes strawberries for me next year. I got about a dozen or 14 of those in there, which I'll be taking out shortly here. These will be composted pretty soon here. And talk about compost, we're working on the compost bin, and so I'm pulling all this organic matter. Sunflower plants. Boy, sunflowers did great this year. I think I can measure 12 feet tall. Our corn stalks, a lot of corn stalks up for decorations right now, but as this get past how I'm going to pull those back in. But this stuff I pull off the beds, and we're been transferring this, which I've been working on since started adding into this bin back in probably end of August, early September. We've already transferred this into that back in late August, early September, and this is what we're taking right now into the garden. And I get about, well, it's a 3 foot by 3 foot section. I like the 3 bin system. Some people use 2 bins. Gives me more storage for holding, because come winter time, this is pretty much it for compost usable. I just rotated that into this, which I'm doing right now. This is the more fresher stuff, and that'll sit for a couple of weeks. We'll get this composted in, then probably around the first part of November, this will go into that bin, and then what has been composting the month of October will go into this. And then winter time, believe it or not, I continue collecting compost. I have a 5-gallon bucket out the back of my porch. I don't know if you can see that way up there or not. Probably a little too small to see it, but just come out the back on the deck, winter time, any kitchen organic scraps. No meats in there. You want nothing like that. No greases, just vegetable matter. And I'll fill the bucket probably every week or two. So any other Christmas tree clippings that we have our own Christmas trees, so we do clip those for our decorations, and when I'm done with them, I put them in the compost bin. And so come spring, this thing's pretty well filled up. When these go out of here into the garden, they rotate in. Believe it or not, this one here maybe won't be totally broken down, but I go ahead and spread in the garden beds, and it gets turned under this time of year. I mean, by July, you would know that there was, totally non-processed compost that's not broken down the finest. It breaks down the garden soil just fine, and the gardens, you can see, is done very, very well with it. So that's what we're doing right now. I just want to give you a little update where things are at. Like I say, there's always more going on in the fall. It doesn't stop. Next thing we'll be doing is I got a few pairs of can up here, and then after that we're going to be working on grapes, and that's the last thing out of the garden. Of course, the proverbial jams as we need them throughout the fall. I'll be cooking up more of those. The fruits are frozen right now in the chest freezer, but as always, get some of those up here. And then we've been processing the honey. We took another I think around 35 pounds the other day, and then we did one more extraction of honey probably the 3rd week of October. And then we start feeding them sugar water inside, so they can build up their honey stores for the winter time. Make sure they're all set to go here. Hopefully they make it this year. Asparagus, been working this more, so keeping it mulched more this year, and also been feeding it a little more heavier with blood meal. I also put in there some rock phosphate. Hopefully that's going to make a little difference, because I started realizing I was losing my asparagus bed. It just wasn't coming through as healthy as it should. but I'll be planting more next year. What I do is like to put a stake where each plant is, and then where there isn't, come spring, I know where to put the new plants that didn't make it. It's unfortunate, but it's kind of my fault. I wasn't keeping up with the nutritional feed of the asparagus bed. Plenty of moisture this year. It just didn't seem to hold up well. Hardly had to use drip irrigation. Plenty of rain, but just was not getting the nutrient level that I should be getting out of the asparagus bed or putting into it. They say put it like around 2 or 3 inches of compost come spring. The problem is I got so much demand in the garden for compost. I run short here, so I'm just going to go with more of a heavy organic fertilized feed. I do have some wood chips over here. I'm going to start from the wood that I process as far as for a wood stove that we use to supplement heat. I'm going to start using some of the smaller pieces that I find and start using in the asparagus bed. They say you can do that. And that's as a good nutrient as that breaks down over time. We'll keep on feeding it though. Black raspberries looking okay. I'll be giving this a good heavy spray of lime sulfur. Probably early, they say when the leaf foliage drops back off this, would be early November. Sprays heavily to keep the fungus from getting in here. I'm going to show you what I mean. This is already signs of it. That variated looking leaf is kind of, I don't know what to call it, what's the best word to use for it? Not growing the best. It's looks very restricted versus these are nice healthy looking leaves there. I know that plant's got problems, so what I'll probably do, I'll just probably hate to cut the whole thing out, because what's going to happen come next year, it'll be just all shriveled up as far as the berries, so I might have just cut that one out totally. In fact, I think the whole plant is done, because that's coming off of a whole yeah, that's coming off of where a whole plant was. That plant when it probably got sick, so we're going to take that out a little later on today here. That way I don't have to spread any disease that might be in there. Oh, that's too bad. What it is, I got some wild raspberries back there. I've been trying to control them. With such a huge woods behind, it's hard to keep it. The fungus has come from the wild raspberries or black raspberries that are wild out there, and the spores come over here and infect the black raspberries. So it's a battle, but hey, nothing ever goes perfect in the garden. Some do, some doesn't. Like I said, the last thing to do is the grapes, and those are looking really, really good this year. Very happy about that. We'll be cooking those up for some. I have a steamer that I like to do, and create grape juice. I'll make some grape jam later on. Awesome. Looking really good. Those are good. Excuse the seeds. But yeah, we got a lot coming here. These are just starting to ripen up. Not quite there. There's still a little bit on the lighter color, but I'll start with those first. And these will probably become grape jam later on, probably more like the middle of October. Actually, as it gets colder, they get better. Get a few little light frosts at nighttime, while they just sweeten right up. My one lonely eggplant. So, never had success growing eggplant before, but this year, somewhere by the edge of the strawberry bed, it liked it, and I'm happy with that. Asked Linda, my wife, says, "You ever make eggplant parmesan?" I go, "Well, we're gonna make some. I'll make a beautiful one there." That's just awesome looking. So we'll get that off pretty soon, so we can enjoy that. But so anyways, that's where we're at lately. I'm gonna put a little water in these strawberries. I did some transplanting yesterday out of this newer bed here, so we'll get a little water going for that, just to keep that well moist. It is going to rain again, I think, Tuesday, but I don't want to wait that long. I can see some of my newer transplants are wilting off a little bit, which are right in here. So that's the latest and greatest out of the garden. Blueberries are starting to get that we get that nice red fall color. You can see that back in there, and leaves are starting to turn red. Nice growth this year. Very happy with that. Because I do my trimming come end of February, early March, but some nice growth coming off the bottom. I'm keeping up with that. Gave it a good feeding, a couple feedings this year. Also gave it some magnesium. I believe that's what it is. Correct. Sorry if I'm not. I'm just going off my memory out here. I think it's magnesium sulfate. But also gave a particular fertilizer in the spring for this. I get from Gardens Live that just arrived. It's all natural for blueberries. And then I will do also a my liquid fertilizer, which is a mixture of fish emulsion, liquid kelp, and blackstrap molasses. And I put that on when the berries just start to appear. That helps give it a little extra push on the foliage and on the berries to keep the berries coming. And so it's kind of an exciting time of year as things start wrapping up. You know, you've been busy all year long and hoping things are going well, and you get some good results out of the garden, and then you just kind of reflect back, take a little evaluation of where things are at, and look to things slowing down in the fall. This you can get to some of those inside projects like painting the family room. Just bought the paint yesterday, so we'll get into that in a couple more weeks as the days get shorter and we work at night and do some of those projects. But it was a very good year, and we'll be doing more updates as things start wrapping up more. We'll show you more of the growth of the fall garden as we start picking leeks. Leek potato soup, just love that, like my favorite soup. We'll probably get a recipe on that eventually. That's about it for now. Back to turning the compost so I can get this compost, chop it up into here and get working for more. It's real quick. I've been composting I started this compost bin, I think I rebuilt it once back in 1985, I believe. Just real quick here, need to jump ahead of myself here, but this is just a galvanized fence. I got this, you can get these plans online pretty easily, I'm sure, making compost. There's all kinds of designs, but this worked out well with a bin system, just taking a 2x4 and just notching them out, and these are all pressure treated. If I don't use pressure, they rot out. You can use regular pine too. Those are worried about any leaching into the bed, but I don't know, it's very minimal. They hold up well. You can probably use cedar too if you want to go the expense, but they just get slid into the edges there. As it gets filled up, I just move these around to hold back the material as I go through and fill her up to the next till it's full, and then we do the same thing over again. It's good exercise too. Phenomenal exercise. Up and down, and okay, you go easy on the back though. You don't want to take too much at one time. But compost, this is the backbone of the garden. Without this, you wouldn't have that out there. I know some people are very careful about what they put in it. I know you're supposed to put in your supposed to burn your tomato plants. Some might do that, and I just throw it all in. If I do have disease like this, over here, the black raspberry, I don't throw those in. I'll put those somewhere else and destroy them, because that's not good to put back in your garden. But most things, I don't see many diseases really. It's going organic. It's pretty good. It's almost a disease-free garden. Like I said, tomatoes, you're always going to have that problem with tomatoes, getting that Verruclium wilt. We'll continue working on this here, and thank you again for watching. Appreciate those who are new subscribers, and for those who like to subscribe, hit the button at the end and hit the bells. Even though it's fall, we're not done. We'll keep on bringing you guys more updates. There's plenty more to do. And I really appreciate you taking the time to check out what we're doing here at Simply Garden. Enjoy the rest of your day.